also have a segment on our website called Real Pilot Stories, and these are debriefings, if you will, and a retelling of a story of pilots who were either in an accident or got really close to an accident, and they're telling us what happened. In some cases, we also have ATC tapes included, so you can hear the whole thing and then lessons learned. So it's pretty compelling stuff when somebody says, there I was, and looking over the edge, about pretty tight. Now, you know the saying that what goes down, or what goes up, must come down again. That's the law of gravity. Well, the Air Safety Foundation has a different law. We say that what goes down had better be able to go back up again. And I think those of you who fly airplanes would agree. Ouch! I've ridden through a few landings like that, including some that I won't mention, including present company. But you know what? Those kind of landings shouldn't occur, and yet they happened to both private pilots as well as commercial pilots. And don't you think if the FAA had its way, there ought to be a law against these things? In fact, we're going to propose that there be runway police. This is going to solve the problem. So let's take a look at a situation that you might encounter here out on the runways here.
Sir, do you know how fast you were going back there? Not exactly, 60, 70 knots. Okay, well, I clocked you at 70 knots in a 60 knot zone. That's more than 1.5 times stalling speed.
Yeah, I didn't realize I was going that fast.
Do you know how much of the runway you used?
Oh, half, maybe 2/3.
Also, it looked like you were weaving coming down the center line on your final approach.
Well, I guess it was a little bit more costly than what I thought.
Do you know what the crosswind velocity of this airplane is?
About 12 knots.
About 12 knots. All right. Sir, it says here that you've been cited for excessive speed on rotation, improper trim on takeoff, and failure to comply with noise abatement procedures.
They dropped the noise abatement charges.
Sir, what I'd like you to do is go ahead, tilt your head back, bend your fingertips to your nose, and tell me what VASI stands for.
Visual airborne system.
Well, that's a nice try. It's 1 out of 4. You know what this means?
Are you going to give me a ticket?
Yes, I am. It's going to be to a takeoff and landing clinic. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
And so we proceed to solve the problem of bad landings. Actually, this was the opening to a safety seminar that we did all over the country, and we went into a great deal of detail about how not to have bad landings and getting into quite a discussion. I see we have a representative from the Kansas State Police here. Was that a fairly accurate representation, sir? Last year, we did over 200 free safety seminars all over the country and spoke to over 42,000 pilots on a variety of different topics. So it's a labor of love. We do it, we enjoy it, and we hope that it helps to make the pilot community a little bit safer. Now, statistics. As Mark Twain said, one of my favorite authors, get your facts first, then distort them as much as you like. 43.9% of all statistics are made up on the spot. Okay? Well, that number also happens to be the number of accidents in general aviation last year that occurred in the takeoff and landing phase of flight. So you would think we could probably do a little better than that. And the whole system these days is to talk about being data-driven. Well, we are data-driven, and we maintain a database of all of the accidents involving light aircraft weighing less than 12,500 pounds. And we put out an annual report every year. The name Nall comes from a former NTSB board member who was lost in an aircraft accident in Caracas, Venezuela, who was an active GA pilot. But we publish this every single year. It's up online. You can take a look at it and see what you think. Very quickly through the accident database, you can go in, all of you, and take a look if you like. I happen to pick, my apologies to Cessna, on a Cessna 414, but you can search by type, you can search by date, you can search by city, and so forth, and then it'll bring up all of the different categories of Cessna 414 accidents, and then you can go into the specifics. You can sort in any different way that you like, and then we can drill down a little bit deeper and get to the actual accident itself and learn about that. Research. Well, one of the things that the Air Safety Institute does is research, and this happens to be on technologically advanced aircraft. Say that 3 times after a glass of wine, and you're probably still not in a good shape to fly. So what does that mean? Well, that's the kind of airplanes that we're building, and we have pretty much all glass cockpits these days. We have new glass and we have legacy glass. I deliberately picked a couple of aircraft that are not built here in Wichita. This is the evil empire to the north, and this is the evil, not so evil empire to the south, Mooney. And you can see both of them have glass cockpits. Well, everybody has high expectations that the technology somehow is going to resolve the issue. Well, I'm sorry to tell you that, in fact, the more things change, the more they stay pretty much the same. It has to do with how the airplanes are flown and a lot less to do with how the airplanes are equipped. One area where glass has really helped us, however, is in fuel mismanagement. And so I'd like you to take a look at this pilot safety announcement that we did on fuel mismanagement.
Looks like our flight time to Hawaii will be about 5 hours and 20 minutes, give or take. We're trying to save a little gas by keeping the fuel load pretty light today. So just a heads up not to panic if you hear the engine shut down a little later in the flight, since we might have to glide that last little bit on. Not to worry though, we almost always make it, so sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride.
Well, we don't think they would operate this way. Actually, since we did this, the good news is that the number of fuel mismanagement accidents has decreased from an average of 3 per week down to only 1 per week. So we're only cracking up about 50 some odd airplanes a year because people don't understand that fuel is not an optional item in airplanes. You really need to have it. So as you can tell, we don't have any fun in the safety business. It's much too serious to be taken seriously.